So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a VOD review here for Akuma versus Wasted Potential. This series actually was played twice because of connection issues there. So this second series will actually start at 1-1, so it's a best of 3, not entirely a best of 5, because the first one, they sort of played 2 games and in each team 1-1, and then the rest were all DC issues and were 4v5s basically. So they're each going to start here with 1 game is basically the gist of things here. But as you can see, we're going to see the Jarvan first pick here. The main, I think, matchup I'm looking at in this series is the jungle matchup. Because Pure Acid, I think, is one of the better junglers in the league here. And right now we have like 3 really strong junglers in the meta. 2 of them being Jarvan and Hecarim, as you can see, they're immediately picked. But also Rek'Sai here, which I'm a little surprised Pure Acid doesn't pick up, because he's like super into champions that are very aggressive, get in the backline. I mean, Hecarim gets in the backline, right? He's just going to run at you. But Rek'Sai is much more towards his play style of like an assassin-y kind of champion. So kind of surprised he doesn't like that one. But the bans are super interesting, though. I didn't actually touch on those, but we got Mordekaiser, Morgana, Teemo on one side, and then we got Taric, and then the Zac and Vladimir here. I like the Zac. Excuse me, I don't like the Zac. I like the Vladimir. I like the Taric. It confuses me that they banned the Zac, to be perfectly honest. Like, I don't understand why Wasted Potential bothers, because like I would never expect them to, like, I'd expect them to pick it, but I don't think it's very strong, basically, right? If you do pick it, you're putting yourself in a terrible jungle matchup, and Pure Acid should pretty much just run over audio, because Zac isn't that strong right now, so I don't think he's really worth the scaling potential of it when you're giving up like jungle pressure early on, because the 1v1 is always going to go to Pure Acid no matter what champion he picks. So I actually prefer them getting the Jarvan here, honestly, for Akuma. And while I was saying that like the jungle matchup is super important, mid is also important. I just think the jungle is going to be more impactful, because it enables the mid laners here. Like Fluke is, I think, one of our best mid laners. Rutledge has his sort of pocket picks. He's a very small champion pool, but he's very good at the champions he does play here. But looking at this objectively, I think Akuma has a much better composition right now. Braum is just super strong in the bot lane. You have Jarvan, which is good. It's actually had a terrible win rate in the LCS. It's like actually atrocious how bad it is. But I think Akali for Fluke, which is, I believe this is where this ends up going. Akali for Fluke is like really, really good. I don't think any of the champions Rutledge plays like really stand up to it. He ends up going with Ahri here, but I don't even think that's a great matchup for him, honestly. I think Fluke's gonna smash Rutledge in lane. I say smash, like he's gonna have an advantage. I don't know if he'll solo kill him like 6 times, but I think he's gonna have a big advantage there in the mid lane. And with the Jarvan, I think your 2v2 is much better and much easier to execute, especially, like just the way Hecarim is set up here. I just don't think it's great for him, because I don't really like the situation where he is in. I think that Akuma's composition is just much better overall so far. And then you see a bunch of AD carry bands coming out. Got the Ghost Cleanse hover there from Pigeon. I like a bunch of cleanses actually out of everyone. But Kaisa is also low range AD carry here. I think she's got the Luther Protector, and you have a bit of range advantage there in lane. But I don't know. I still prefer the Braum here, just because I think in the mid game you're gonna be super strong, because Akali's gonna have like 1 or 2 items, right? And she'll just delete the Kaisa even with Lulu there, and there's like not gonna be any peel for her. Like the tank won't matter in the front line if they pick one for Klein, and then they pick Tristana here. So I just think Akuma's composition is much better overall so far. To be perfectly honest, like I don't really see a salvage of the draft here for Wasted Potential, as they pick Sylas here, so they even have, like, they have really good mixed damage. They have 2 AP, 2 AD sources, so it's not even like you can stack resistances here. And then Kennen. So, like, looking at things right now, especially with the Hecarim builds that have been in vogue recently with Warrior into Triforce, he's just very squishy. He's just been very squishy. He's also going Conqueror. Like, he's got no defensive keystone. He's got no he's just not tanky at all. So right now, like, you look at Ways of Potential's composition, they have no tanks. They scaled decently, but like I just really don't like their setup, to be honest. I think that Kai'Sa's under a lot of pressure, and she's got no peel beyond the Lewis there. They're trolling me here. I'll just fast forward in the VOD. We'll eventually get in the game. But I think Akuma has a much better composition to start off with, and I think Fluke is empowered to do stuff in the mid lane here. Like, obviously, early levels, it's annoying because you're a melee champion. He's actually gone for Electrocute too. I've seen a lot of fleet footwork off of for Akali's for sustain, just extra mobility here. But yeah, I like where Akuma is at right now. Silas also really good. He can steal 2 really impactful ultimates with Klein's ultimate as well as Pure Acid's ultimate. Hopefully we don't stutter too much here. Let's go back to normal speed now that the game started. But I think that, like, right now Akuma set up much better to win. And then you look at, like I said, the jungle matchup earlier on. It should be like, I think Pure Acid, he just doesn't really have a lane to gank early on because it's really difficult to gank mid lane even if Ahri hits the charm. Kennen is okay, but Silas again super mobile, so I think it's kind of hard for Pure Acid to make stuff happen here. You can pressure bot lane a little bit here because you have the range advantage with Lulu, like, but it's really shouldn't be too crazy or anything. We'll just back to 1.5 times here. Obviously, you lose push early on a little bit in mid lane. Again, because of the range advantage. This is actually a really interesting path here from Audio. He went blue to topside scuttle. One thing you will see is like blue gromp to topside to the scuttle crab, which, you know, assuming if, you know, whichever side scuttle is on if you're spawning, right? But just blue straight to the scuttle you're on is a really strange pathing. But it does give him the opportunity to get double scuttle if he's like super aggressive about it. And Hecarim's just going for like a really defensive pathing, like he's not doing anything crazy here. Audio's pathing's like super inefficient, I think, in terms of like the early clear, but it gets him scuttles early on. And that way he's like defensively playing around his lane, which I think is the thing he needs to do. Because if he just protects his lanes, it's fine. Like, they're not going to lose out, and then I think you're much better in the mid game there. Yeah. And you can even see that Kennen's, he gets pushed early on, so like if you look at the priority in the lanes right now, you could look at them and say like Pure Acid kind of has priority in 2 lanes. Like you see down bottom lane, Papa Skips is like being annoying, right? And making their life difficult. And in mid lane, hold on. This trade's going. If Klein gets solo kill, that'd actually be really big, but no, he's gonna be fine. Ahri, like, she sort of has the push, but it's pretty even. But he just can't really gank anything. Like, if you just look at around, like, Pure Acid doesn't really have anywhere to go to actually make stuff happen early. And I think that's one of the, like, Hecarim, that was always the thing that sort of like brought him into the meta was he could just run around and gank constantly. It was just super easy to do that. And right now, I just don't think he has a setup. Because even while you have priority, like, you can't really invade the Jarvan very easily. And this Silas is even winning there up in the top side. Oh, this would be an interesting play. Oh. I think Pure Acid's dead, right? Nick's even coming down. See, Nick even won his lane super hard. So he took so many good trades that he actually got priority up in the top side so that when the fight happened in the river, they actually win. So that's actually a really big win here. Like, this is the concern I have with Pure Acid, right? Is that, like, he hasn't really done anything wrong per se in the early game, but just because of the way the picks worked out, I think that he's really not in a very good situation. And like he can't really gank anywhere, like he can't really invade, like he can't really make anything happen early on. And like I said, he's gonna go for this warrior build, so he's gonna be super squishy. So this is like why I think Akuma's actually in a really good position here. Whereas Audio, he's got like he can gank 2 lanes basically very easily, and even mid lane potentially. And then bot lane is just... Wow, they might even get the kill. Yeah, Papa Skips goes down. So that's a big win too. So this early game kind of went the way I thought it would, to be perfectly honest. And you now don't have any side lane pressure because Akali is better in the side lane against Ahri later on. And the Ken is now behind and he's going AP build, which, I mean, it's fine, right? You're going to play for the team fight with him, but you now have no split push potential. Like, you just have no side lane pressure now in the mid game. Akuma's got that completely in their control.
It's also helping sure kills. I mean,
and like,
but when you're playing as Lulu,
I think that the gold lead is not really indicative of how big an advantage Akuma has right now. Like, it's only 300, 400 gold. It was 500 for a second there. And now it's, yeah, it's fluctuating a little bit here, but I think because of the way they drafted, it looks like he's also going to go for Cinderhulk on the Jarvan here. And yeah, there you go. The Silas is just going to continue to win the trades. Like, I didn't think he would even win that hard early on, but he's still going to get the solo kill. Purist is going to get something back here, but the fact that Silas is just solo killing this Kennen at this stage in the game is just like a really bad sign, I think. That's a good ward, I guess. But the fact, and they also they got the 2v2 kill in the bot lane. I don't know what Papa Skips is doing. Like, this was warded the entire time. Just look at the bush; it was warded. I don't know why they walk up. They don't have any summoner spells, and they just walk into them. Like, what do you think was gonna happen? The thing is, like, Akuma thought they were a big brain too. They're like, oh, we're gonna hide in this bush; they'll never know we're here. And then there's just a ward on them, and they get the kill anyway. Like, I don't know what. Like, it wasn't even like Akuma like tricked them and was out of vision there. That's not exactly the right situation, but it looks like they're rushing Ardent Sensor for Papa Skips. It's also Ocean Drake, but no one's even made a move to bot side. Yeah, the fact I've seen so many Kai'Sas just struggle in lane like this. They just get behind and things are impossible. Well, that was played terribly. Hold on. Is he really going to get this kill as well? There's no way. This is... Well, let's go back here. The thing I don't understand about this is, okay, so you go in the ultimate... I'll mute that because that's annoying. But so they don't know he's there, right? Okay. They don't know he's there. So they're like, alright, we're in Cataclysm, but Nick has he stolen the ultimate yet? No, he hasn't even stolen anything. And he can't steal clients because it's on cooldown. So they essentially only have one ultimate here. They go in the Cataclysm. Like, Audio goes in. Like, they try and dive climb, but they haven't pushed in the wave. Like, look where the wave is right now. The minions are sitting outside a turret, so they're not taking aggro. So as soon as he goes in, he takes aggro. They know Klein is ultimate. Like, that's just asking yourself to get killed right there. I think that was a terrible call. They either needed a hard shove or let the wave bounce back, and they didn't do either.
That's really weird. I guess maybe
that's like literally the worst position a wave can be in to gank, honestly. Like, Audio played the early game well, but that was just really stupid. Like, he just gave over a kill for free. But that's really good now. Kennen's actually really strong. And because they just got double killed up in the top lane, Hecarim is able to go over and get the Rift Herald. So, objective they should never have gotten, they get for free. And you can see this bot lane still like has pressure, so they're still gonna like win this bot side of the map here. Audio's gonna try and gank again, but like I think honestly, if he just didn't gank and walked to Rift Herald, that would have been such a better trade, because they would have gotten Rift Herald and they wouldn't have gotten double killed. So like that play was so good for wasted potential, because they got Rift Herald, the double kill on the Kennen now. Like, I think that was just so incredibly good for them, and it just came off of Akuma's mistake. But now they're finally looking for the Ocean Drag, but Hecarim's here. Well, both mid laners should be able to get here, but because of the 2v2 that just happened, neither support is ultimate, so that could change the complexion of the fight. Oh, they have TP? It's gonna buy a lot of time there with the Zonias. Yeah, this is not great. Nick also missed the ulti here. Still 1-for-1 so far. This isn't terrible here for Akuma. Yeah. That was not great. Akuma kind of like put themselves in a corner because of the way the Dragon Pit is structured. You can't really get out from there. Like they needed to start backing off earlier on, or like just set up because they had 2 members in the pit and then the jungler was sitting on the edge of it. The way they like just designed that was really bad. And then the cannon got in before with the TP before Nick did on the Sylas. That play was just really not structured very well. Plus, I think Akali was sitting on a bunch of gold. I think they had a bunch of money to buy on like most of their champions. I think that was really impatient of them, to be honest, because they didn't really have vision control of the bot side at all. Like you just, and Hecarim was there, like, so I think that was really Akuma trying greedy. Like twice now, Audio's tried to make plays, and he's just been too greedy of like not respecting the enemy team. Which Lestai is saying that like it's just for an Ocean. I think Ocean's a good dragon, but he's right in this game that Ocean's not that valuable. Because like if you look at the champions, you have like a couple energy champions, and all the rest of the champions just aren't mana dependent. And you don't have poke either. So like if this was a game where you had poke, like there's a Vel'Koz or Xerath or something, or even a Varus. Like if there's a Varus here, like I didn't say that, so I think forcing that hard for that wasn't very good. Plus the setup was bad. But it's still fine. I mean, Akuma's still winning. Honestly, well, I don't know if you say winning, but Akuma's still, I like their position. They're not winning anymore, but I like their position because I think their team comp is better. There's still the potential for like the Wombo engage, I guess, if you have Cannon and Hecarim multis at the same time, but once Akali gets a second item like Morello's or whatever, maybe she'll go for a different damage item. I don't know what it is. It's a good steal. The Akali's just going to kill the Kai'Sa at a certain point. And she's not going to build Wet's End, I don't think. Like, third item, I would be very surprised if she bought Wit's End. I'd be very, very surprised. But like I said, I think that the team comp for Akuma is better. You have the Hecarim. This is a pretty... He just ran out of time. Spear Acid just summoned the Rift Herald. But if you like look at Akuma right now, they have a much tankier lineup. Like the Hecarim is super squishy. So doesn't make a ton of sense here. But yeah, this summon was really bad because he just ran out of time. So I mean, that was I don't think that was played particularly well by Akuma, but Fluke. Okay, the Conqueror is pretty good, I guess. I think they got a kill. Honestly, the only reason they got a kill out of that play was just because Akali did a lot of damage. Like Fluke played that well, but like Akali just does a lot of damage there. Still, the 2-for-1 trade isn't terrible because I guess they prevented the Rift Herald from getting too low, but they lose turret, so that's another bad overall play for Akuma.
I will not retract my statement on that. Hey, that's absolutely fair. But
like I said, the side lane should have been over. Like Sylas should have been fine for the rest of the game against the cannon, but because they give her the double kill, he's back in it, and the fight in the river. So like 2 mistakes by Audio, I think, have made this game a lot harder than it should have been. I say that, like, he made a few good plays early on, but then he just kind of, those 2 plays I didn't really like. I think that maybe... I think maybe if you don't focus the Kai'Sa, or focus the Ahri, that'd be good, because she's just going to dash out of the Cataclysm, like... Using the Cataclysm is just not worth it on the Ahri. I think you need to Cataclysm someone else. Because that's sort of what they try. That's what he's done twice, I think. Now is he's tried to cataclysm people, and he's just like, all right, well they dash out of it. Whereas he has like 4 targets that don't have dashes to get out, or actually 3. I guess Kaisa ulti can get out of it if she, taps someone with the plasma beforehand. But
he's going for a flank here, obviously, but just decides to not.
So you have a second dragon coming up.
But it's actually interesting to me that central bot lane pack, like that's okay. Rotate back up to the top side.
But Coyotes is pretty strong here. As long as he doesn't die, that'd be good. That was a good disengage by Jirosa there. That was actually really good. That ulti saved honestly his own life and everyone else's. That was a really good play. They're gonna lose Infernal though now. Yeah. That play looks really bad from Akuma, but honestly, it went much better than it should have, I think, because that could disengage. But they give up Infernal because of it, obviously. Which, well, I don't really know why he was there. He should have just back. He should have just ran directly under turret. In fact, I don't know why they're contesting this. Like, why are they here? Like, they either needed to wait for Nick or not go at all. That's a big shutdown, though. That actually ends up at the end of that play. It's not terrible. They lose a tower, but they get a big shutdown on the Hecarim, and then a few more, and then a couple more kills here. Each time they get these kills, though, they're giving up, something. They give up the top turret. They give up mid turret.
Maybe she wasn't. They probably could have saved Kaisa.
Yeah, this is Akuma. Honestly, I think they had a really big advantage in the early game, and then they just threw it with a couple plays here. They're only down. They're down 5,000. So this isn't very good, obviously, but you have your Tristana is still actually very does a lot of damage. The Kaisa's not even on Rage Blade yet, so your 80 carry is fine.
Thank you. So he has that warrior, or excuse me, not the warrior. He has the Cinder also, as you said, he is going for that more tanky build to, go with the Conqueror. Going to be doing that through damage anyway. But not as right.
But yeah, the Hecarim only has health right now, and obviously Ninja Tabi's too. But he's like only got health, so he's super squishy. Like if Jirosa can disengage his engage, then they're fine. They just need to worry about the Hecarim and the Kennen ulting on them. If Jirosa just uses his ulti to stop them, they're fine. Then AKM should probably win the fight.
Or if he locks in Cataclysm and you just beat his facing with the Hecarim circle thing. Whichever ability the circle one is. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, I don't know what it's called because I'm usually dead before he does that. So I don't really pay attention to that. It never pops up in my death recap. I mean, death recap hasn't worked for 8 years anyway, so I don't think we're gonna find it from there. But we do see.
But now you have Baron in full control of the map.
4K gold lead, 3 towers to 1, and having those 2 dragons just help a lot as well.
Fluke's. He just props Shroud, and then Pure Acid just runs away. He's like, all right, you outplayed me with this ability. This one ability you pressed, you outplayed me. Well, Kaisa needs to get Rage Blade before they can go to Baron. If she doesn't have Rage Blade, they can't pressure Baron. So this is fine for Akuma. Because the Tristana is getting farm. Like, everyone's getting farm. Audio is suffering a little bit. You can see the CS difference here. Because they lost control of the top and mid turrets, he can't really walk into the topside jungle very easily. Like, they didn't even get the last hit in the control ward. He's gonna get wolves here, I guess, but yeah, this is the part where, like, when you're behind as a jungler, it really sucks because you don't have access to the certain camps. But Fluke should be able to pressure Rutledge. Like, he shouldn't. I don't think he'll ever get the turret, but he should be able to keep pressure up in that lane. Yeah, they're gonna give up a second Infernal here. I don't. It feels so bad to give up a second Infernal. Like, it feels absolutely terrible. But it might even be good for Akuma to do that. I think that might have even been the right play, honestly. Because if they commit to that fight and they lose it, they lose Baron. Right? Unless they, like, trade, like, 3 or 4 members, I guess. But if you fight there and you lose Baron off the back of it. So if it's like the... I think it's the right call to give it up. Because your Tristana is still super strong. Like, she's looking for the second Zeal item. And she went Grievous Wounds really early on, which I think is fine, but interesting. I would rather get the second crit item and then Grievous Wounds. Because Lulu's damage, or Lulu's healing is, like, she's mostly shields. She doesn't actually do that a ton of healing, because she's gone for Ardent Sensor here. Like, she adds health with her ulti, and then she has shields with her E, so if it was Soraka, like, obviously I'd get it, but interesting here. But like I said, because they lost top and mid turrets, they lose their topside jungle, so Audio can't farm because he can't really go to the bot side of the map and get camps very easily, and he lost control of the topside jungle here, so he's actually really in a bad spot. Like, Audio just can't really farm right now. That's why he's down 3 levels right now. There you go. Yeah. That's why they can't walk in the top side of the jungle. Like, they tried to agree to go into the top side of the jungle to contest the vision here, and they just lost. Like, Akuma, I think they did a great job not going for the second Infernal, not baiting themselves into that fight, and then they just baited themselves into walking in their jungle. Like, I don't really understand the decision there to, like, not go for Dragon and then try and fight the vision here. Yeah. I think Akuma threw this game, to be perfectly honest. Maybe throws too harsh, but I think that plays in the mid game really threw the, like, just lost their advantage. And then this play was just they walked into the jungle without vision. Like, I understand you want to keep eyes on Baron, but that's what Farsight's for. Like, you should have your mid and AD carry, get the Farsight wards, and then just use that to check. But that was a really bad swing for them, obviously. I think if you went for, if you went as 5 in there, it would have been better. But, like, that was definitely not the time to walk in there. But that's like that's being caught between like a rock and a hard place. Like, Audio can't farm at all. Like, he literally has no access to no camps on the map, basically. Because if he goes bot side and they spot him, they lose Baron. If he goes top, like, you just can't walk in the top side jungle here. And now Pigeon is, like, super strong somehow, because he's just been getting free farm for these last couple minutes, and so is Kayat. So, like, again, you still have a super strong AD carry on both sides, but because this Hecarim is so strong and the Kennen's so strong because of those plays in the mid game, you're in a really tough situation. And they can't, I was even talking about their strength in the side lane here, but they can't leverage their strength in the side lane because, or at least their side lane, like, pressure, because they don't have any, like, map control. Like, they don't even own up to their jungle, so they can't even use that. So Wasted Potential just kind of cut their strength out from underneath them. Or one of their strengths, anyway. Because of all the range champions, Wasted Potential can just hit the turret. Yeah. They just tried to force an engage there. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do. I can't fault them for that. Because if you give up the second inhibitor, the game's kind of over anyway. So that kind of sucks. But I think Akuma played, like, a really good early game, to be honest. I really liked their early game. Like, I liked their draft into their early game, and then that play topside where they got double killed by Klein into the play at Dragon. Like, they had complete map control. Like, they were the ones dictating objectives. They were the ones dictating, like, who was going where. They had complete control, and then they just gave it up because of those 2 plays. And because, right, if you look at what happened off those 2 plays, you saw, all right, double kill topside, all of a sudden the Kennen is strong, and Nick's not solo killing him any longer. So it's like, oh, that sucks. And then we lost Rift Herald off the back of that because Pure Acid just walked top lane and took it because both of them were dead, right? And then the Dragon, they lost, what, 3 or 4 people? And then they lose the Ocean Dragon, and they lose complete priority on the map, which their composition really wanted, because they could have pressured with a Sylas and a Kali. And Tristana gives you, pressure on towers. Because, like, one of the biggest strengths of Tristana, and this is, like, works with Caitlyn too, is that she's, like, a great turret taker. But you can't actually take turrets if you can't get near them, so. It's the same exact bans here. And, like, I like half of them, and then half of them I don't like. I still don't get why. Wasted Potential is banning Zach. Like, I know audio plays it, like I get it, but the whole strength of that last game of game 1 was the fact that audio was running, like, actually doing stuff and getting pressure early game, and Pure Acid wasn't. And then all of a sudden, Pure Acid could make plays because they weren't like, because then he actually had like the ability to.
Okay, so like I will dominate when he's trolling, yeah, easy, but like.
But he's gonna get Kha'Zix here, so Kha'Zix into Hecarim's interesting. Hecarim definitely wins early on, but also interesting to see if audio takes Ghost or Ignite again. Because some people, I think Juros actually played a good game on Braum though. The play in the bottom lane with the ultimate to disengage was fantastic. I think is good here, but
I don't like the Braum pick here personally. Sorry, throughout this entire season, I believe that Thresh counters Braum.
One thing I don't really understand is why they why no one like picks Callista. Obviously she's very difficult to play and she's on screen right now, which is very helpful. But I think Callista can be really good. Like you see in the Eastern scene as well too, people pick Callista, like sometimes they'll first pick Callista. Like she's very popular. But no one seems willing to play her, even though we have champions like Braum, Thresh, and Galio. Like you look at all the support picks that are good right now, and I think she synergizes amazing with them. So I just don't know. I don't know why people aren't playing her, to be honest. I think Fluke, I think a Fluke on Akali was good too. I think he played a good game 1. Like I think Akuma actually had a really good game 1. They just a few things and then Waste Potential did like punish them. But Endrill's back in. Papa Skips isn't playing support anymore, so that can change things in the bot lane as well here, because Papa Skips plays a much different champion pool than Endrill does. Kennen again. Honestly, Nick dominated that matchup again. Like it's the same, Nick played he dominated the early game into Kennen. He solo killed the Kennen twice. He traded once on it because then Pure Acid just came up top lane and killed him. But he actually solo killed Klein twice. So I wouldn't be surprised if this Renekton pick goes, well. There we go. Just load everything in here.
In terms of like 1v1 in the mid lane, we saw good trades going back and forth. I really do think the glacial element already proved to be a little bit more of a factor. And again, as usual,
Pure Acid is going Dark Harvest. That's interesting. I haven't seen Dark Harvest in a while. It's almost all electrocute from Kha'Zix.
What are the important things what are the win conditions for each team, I guess I'll ask.
Okay, so in my opinion, you have to get Renekton into a spot where he can handle the cannon.
So with the fact that they have picked this Renekton, and you look at the other two solo lanes, you have the Ezreal Braum, and then you have Lux. Obviously, this screams Audio is going to go topside. Like, there's just no way he's not ganking that lane. Right? Like, there's just no way. Because like, right now, they have to snowball the Renekton. Audio also went Flash. I don't know if that's a mistake or if he just wants Flash. I assume he just forgot to swap the Summoner spell. Which kind of sucks, but... I think that... Obviously, we're jungle pressure topside, but the topside could decide a lot, of what goes on in this game here. You see Phase Rush off of Klein, so it's definitely AP Kennen. He's not going to try and play side lane and go toe-to-toe with Renekton, which I wouldn't suggest anyway, but... There you go, yeah. It's just, yeah, like mid and bot are just going to farm for a while until Silas thinks he can kill the Lux and he tries to all in here. This is the worst side of the map too as well for the Kennen. The Kennen wants to be on the blue side because it's a more defensive side, whereas on this side you can run through the tri-brush and the Hecarim can get behind and push you, even without ultimate. So this is actually like good for Akuma. That the side of the maps, just the terrain is actually helping him out as well. The Hecarim's gonna keep looking. Like he's gonna have to gank at some point. Otherwise, you're just like not using this pick at all. But already, I mean, Pure Acid's way behind in farm, but he's ganked 2 lanes already. Or ganked twice, rather, I guess. Yeah, like, the directed camera wants to stay on the bot lane. I don't know why. Like, nothing's gonna happen there. And Hecarim, like, the longer this lane goes without Hecarim getting a gank off, or the Renekton getting a solo kill, or just getting pressure in that lane, the worse it is. Because the Renekton needs to get ahead. Like, Akuma forced themselves into that position, so... The longer that doesn't happen, the worse it is. And you can see he's getting pushed underneath turret, like... That's kind of the issue right now, so... Whereas on the other side right now, like, I liked the game 1 draft from Akuma, but this game 2 draft I think is just so reliant on the Renekton doing stuff. And when you keep that in mind, like, wasted potential just don't really have to do anything. Like, they can just kind of sit and wait. Like, they're under no obligation to make stuff happen. Well, that was a good hook from Endril. And, well, Hecarim has flash, so he gets away, I guess. Ocean Dragon's really tough to take before 6 for Kha'Zix. Until he gets Empower Q. Oh, that was good. This feels like deja vu. Like, we have an Ocean Dragon. We have... we have Akuma overextending in the river, just like in game 1. And they lose 4-for-1. This feels exactly like game 1. Really, really bad for Akuma. The Renekton gets a kill, but he dies, and the Kennen gets a kill and an assist. Like, that's not what they wanted at all. Yeah. Pure Acid even handed over blue buff. I don't know what's gotten into the Pure Acid, honestly. He's not the Pure Acid I remember from the beginning of the season. They're trying to make a play happen, but if Klein is ultimate, you can't dive him. He doesn't have it right now, but they're going to call that one off. I like them setting up vision, though. This is actually really good from Akuma. Look where all the wards are. They have a ward in 3 controllers here. 1 in the river bush, 1 here at the entrance to the jungle, 1 deep in the jungle by the red buff. Red buff's about to spawn as well. So Akuma actually, Akuma actually have potential here to open up something big. If they could catch Pure Acid at his red buff, if they can make a dive happen here on the top lane, or just a gank happen, but now they're the ones getting evaded because their Renekton still doesn't have priority.
I would personally like to see him take Ocean Dragon just because that's not really something that you want to have Ezreal have, especially Lux as well.
Yeah. But then they haven't cleared out the control ward in the tri-bush, so that is one big concern for them.
Okay. Personally, rather have seen them dedicate their resources.
Obviously.
Just because all he got after that fight was a red buff, which that's not converting.
But again, this is the window, right? Renekton has ultimate.
In the long run, that is going
Fluke and Audio, they've both got level 6 as well here. They need to make a play topside. And something needs to happen topside. Otherwise, there's just no reason to pick Renekton. But they've gone 10 minutes now without making anything happen, so it's just a real problem. And I'm not even sure what Audio is like trying to do there, because I don't think that gank ever works because of Endril is able to disengage. You have double flash on the bot laners. And Ezreal Braum, like, you know, they can set up ganks, but they're not great at it, so like just look, the camps that are up are topside, and Nick's gonna get ganked here by Pure Acid, and he's gonna go, I mean, maybe he'll get away, but I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yeah, one more auto. But like Audio, he's got 2 camps up topside. For some reason, he's sitting behind the turret bot lane. I'm kind of ganging up on Audio here. I think he's actually played game 1 super well, but this game 2 I don't like at all.
especially, I mean, you did have the ward in the river,
Like, I think if you're going to give the go-ahead to your top laner to pick this, you need to pressure more here.
If Kha'Zix is coming to your lane and you have half HP,
Whereas, like, wasted potential, they didn't need to force anything in the early game, and they got ahead anyway.
That easy, honestly. Like if you, oh no, I have to miss. Like I've been playing with.
You know what I would have liked a lot better is if they picked Rek'Sai here. I think audio, if he picked Rek'Sai, one, his summoner spells would have been right, but two, he would have dragon pressure, which Hecarim doesn't really have. Like, he can do it, but it's not very good. So if pure acid jungle is defensively around topside, and you're like, I just can't force a gank here. There's just no way I can help the Renekton, right? Then you can just go bot side and take dragon. Because if they're playing that heavily to topside where the Rek'Sai and the Renekton can't make a gank happen, then there's no way dragon isn't free, right? So I think Rek'Sai would have been a much better pick here. Plus his ganks are just better, I think. You know, flash knock-up, there's no way that Kennen's getting away. And you can gank level 3 or level 2. And that way you can get the lane snowballing. And you can just path aggressively, too. You could just go red. I mean, basically just get level 3 with red buff and you run topside. You know, it's that simple. But pure acid is countering bot lane 2 times. And audio keeps trying to go through there. Oh, boy. Yeah. Every single time they've tried to make a bot side play, wasted potential has been there. Like, that is one thing that Rutledge and Pure Acid have done amazingly this game, is every time they've tried to make a bot side play, they're there. Again, the Ocean Drake doesn't matter like a ton. Like in game 1, you don't have... It's not that big a deal for wasted potential, but it's a really big deal for Akuma, because they have a Lux and an Ezreal. And giving it over means that they aren't susceptible to like poke anymore, or at least not as much. So like denying it from Akuma is actually really big, whereas like wasted potential doesn't even really care about getting it, but denying it is huge. And Klein, you can see Klein just making life difficult, and it's all because they didn't get their Renekton early on. That's why I think Rek'Sai would have just been so much better here. And it would also make diving a lot easier too. Like, you always talk about Elise and Renekton topside ganks and diving, but I think the thing that really makes the dive from Renekton and Elise so potent is their ability to drop aggro. And with Rek'Sai Ultimate, you can drop aggro. You obviously get like the easy stuns, right? You stun him with the Renekton, and then you knock up, and then you can drop aggro with the ulti. Obviously, it requires, you know, juggling, right? You have to get the aggro on Rek'Sai, and then he drops aggro with ultimate, and then the Renekton has to take aggro. But I think that it would just be a much better topside duo than the Hecarim here.
It's Kennen, and Kennen is just like, I don't want you to push right now, and he kind of can't. Yep.
Yeah, you can just see how the Renekton is struggling this time.
Just been all over this map.
He still has the potential. I think if he went Black Cleaver, Spear of Shojin, maybe you can spike off 2 items and do something. And like, there's a world where he can push in the side lane, but again, the longer the game goes on, the less he's going to be impactful there.
That's a bit of a lead.
As well, so that's another issue. And the Silas can probably match him anyway too. Like, either Kennen or Silas can go down there and stop him, because he's just not ahead yet. I don't think he will be. I think getting the Rift Herald could be nice, but like there is an opening. Like Pure Acid's bot side, like you could have gone for it. You have control over it, but no, they're gonna back off. Yeah, Audio just hasn't gotten much done. He played game 1 early game very well, but this time you see 0-2 on the Hecarim. He just hasn't made stuff happen. And then Pure Acid's gonna hit the spike off Dustblade here in a couple minutes, and he's just gonna one-shot everyone. You know, because the Lux, she's gonna have stopwatch, but she won't have Zonias for a while. She doesn't have any armor.
It's like a 300 HP shield after your first
and then they have topside priority, so Rift Herald's... There was a chance for Akuma to take it, but because they have topside priority, like there's only certain windows where you can take it, whereas Waste Potential can just kind of walk over whenever they want and take it. So I like that from them. And Akuma, they force so many bot side plays, like it's just insane. And there's nothing Jirosa could do. It's not even like you can blame Jirosa for not engaging well there. It's like you're up against Thresh Kaisa. Like,
Shelly. So they do have
as a Braum, like, sure, I could hit them one. I could slow one of them, but like, I can't chain the stun myself. I need the Ezreal to hit the stun.
But here's the isolated Q damage. The bind does land from Lux, but here comes the damage from
Is Pure Acid really gonna kill him through barrier?
It's gonna help as well. You're not quite gonna be able to find him now. Arya flash.
Oh my goodness.
Buy him some safety. The Lux bind does hit an
Okay, that was a bit troll by Pure Acid, but
well done by Fluke to actually stay alive there. I'm actually blown away.
Fluke used both summoner spells in his stopwatch. That is the most feels bad moment, feels bad man moment for an assassin I've like ever seen.
First blood turret is
He has flash barrier
audio notices this as well, but he's only level 9.
and a stopwatch.
Level 11 cannon right now. Does have the proto belt finish as well as the
Pure Acid got the Dark Harvest stack though, so worth.
Black Cleaver, and when you're playing versus a cannon, you know, he's not going to really have that much armor anyway. I'd probably prefer, especially when you're going against like this heavy AP composition, even something like a Hex Drinker definitely could have benefited you a little bit more, even just in this, whether it's in the survivability of the lane or just for the usage of it throughout the entire game once you actually do get out to a mall.
I don't know if Hex Drinker is worth the gold here. Lestai is saying he should get Hex Drinker up against the Kennen as the Renekton. Well, I don't think Hex Drinker is bad to purchase. I worry that it loses, you lose gold like towards your spikes, so you know what I mean? And you're playing a Kha'Zix topside. Like, if you're playing against an AP jungler here, I think a Hex Drinker 100%. But because you're playing against a Kha'Zix and a Kennen here, I don't know if it's really worth it. I'd much rather just get the health of Cleaver and Shojin and just kill you with the passives as well. Because that gives you a lot more power.
Farm a little bit safely. But then again, right as I thought that, of course, Kitten walks it up to the top turret and is like, I like that. I think I'll take it. Every time, right?
Yeah, no, it's hard. Again, do we see no turret players were taken by anybody?
Pure Acid's also a little bit behind here on the second R evolve. This is a much better Rift Herald play than Game 1. Game 1, the Rift Herald was terrible from Pure Acid because he ran out of time. But this will get turret, and they should be able to pressure the dragon. Because they got to sit here and stop this. Pure Acid went, he went Q evolve, yeah. So he can take this pretty quickly. And they get bot side turrets. This is actually a really good play. Because the Rift Herald was there, they couldn't defend bot lane or the dragon. So they're actually going to get 3 objectives off this. So wasted potential. Like, I've talked about how Akuma have messed up a little bit here, but wasted potential actually played their macro pretty well for game 1 and 2. Pure Acid went also E evolve second. He didn't go W evolve. I think that's a mistake, honestly. If you're looking at the compositions right now, you don't need to kill everyone. Like, the goal of the Kha'Zix right now isn't to kill everyone, because you're up against an Ezreal with Iceborne. This Lux is gonna have Zonies eventually. The Renekton and Hecarim aren't gonna die fast. Neither's the Braum. I think your goal as Kha'Zix right now at this stage in the game, because you're not uber fed or anything, is to just control the fight. So I think W does that. W evolve does that much better. The spiked Rex, because obviously the slow, but you can move in and out of the fight much easier. Whereas E, like, when you hop in and you're trying to go for that reset, like, you're very committed. You can't control the fight as well. So I think I personally would have gone W evolve here because you're not far enough ahead to warrant the E evolve because you're not going to like 1v9, you know. But Pure Acid is. He's got that mindset, which is what makes him like that strong of a player in like certain games. I remember early on in the season, Pure Acid would just like, there were Kha'Zix games where he'd get 1 kill at like 5 minutes, and he'd be like, okay, well, the Kha'Zix, he's got a kill, like maybe he can do something with it. And then you come back 10 minutes later at like 15 minutes, and he's got like 7 more kills, and you're like, all right, well, I guess Kha'Zix is just gonna kill everyone now. And that was just Pure Acid for like 3 weeks. He just like, even if he didn't get Kha'Zix, he'd just kill everyone. And when he got Kha'Zix, he killed everyone even harder. So, but right now, like, especially in this situation, like, he doesn't have to rely on himself. Like, that was kind of the situation for a little bit. But Pigeon and Rutledge are actually playing very well. Klein has also had some good moments. Like, it's not all him now, you know? But if you look at the map again, we're in the exact same situation where you are in game 1. Audio can't farm. He can't farm anywhere. He's down a level right now. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 in the next couple minutes because Pure Acid has access to 3 quadrants of the jungle, and again, Audio can't really go bottom. Like, he can take Raptors, but Raptors and Red are like the only camp he really has access to because they're close enough that he can get to Baron in time. But he doesn't really have access to the topside jungle because that's where all the wards are going to be placed. That's where, like, you can see 3 control wards here in that brush. Oh, good hook by Andril. They made the exact same. Akuma just made the exact same mistake they made in game 1, where they went in to their own topside jungle, and it's literally the same side of the map. They didn't swap sides of the map too. They went into the exact top side. Like, you can even they're zooming on the control wards here, but they walked into the topside jungle without vision and without 5. And even if you walk in as 5 there, you have Kennen ultimate. Like, it's just not safe. Like, the way you play that situation is you don't do anything until you spot them on the map, and then when you do, you go in and get in jungle vision. And if you don't spot them on the map, there's 2 options, right? They're either camping a brush to kill you, or they're on Baron. And you can eliminate one of those options by putting a ward down, like a Farsight ward. Like, again, Coyotes is the only one with a Farsight ward. Like, Fluke needs to purchase one. And then you have 2, and right, you can just kind of rotate them off cooldown, right? If you don't use the Farsight wards at the exact same time, then you can just rotate them and check Baron constantly, pretty much. Not constantly, but every, few minutes you can check it without actually face checking. And then they have to go and walk over and clear it. And if they're right there to clear it, then you know they're like looking for the Baron. So I think, again, 2 sloppy plays there by Akuma around the Baron in the jungle vision. I mean, that's Waste Potential doing a good job here.
Right now, though, 10-2 in the favor of Waste Potential. They do have Baron buff as they walk up to the mid lane here. Klein is on the bot side, but Teleport is available.
And like, Audio, he doesn't even have Triforce yet. He doesn't have the jungling complete. Like, he didn't go Warrior early on, so he doesn't really have any damage. He's got Phage AD and attack speed from Stinger. That's all he has right now. He doesn't do any damage. And Nick is so far behind. Like, I think Akuma, their game plan's fine, but like, they didn't do it, And Endril's like, Endril with the hook pick, they're, gave them Baron. That was a great hook by Endril. And now the siege comes through. Akuma, Waste Potential even have terrible siege right now. If they didn't get Baron, like, this wouldn't be possible. And they're even trolling right now, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, without Baron, they can't siege, so Akuma could have wasted so much time and gotten themselves a chance back into this one, but because they face checked early on. I still like what they did, though. There were a few good moments, and then I think their game 1 I actually really liked, but this game 2 has been really not very good. Like, it very much feels like deja vu, because the mistakes they made in game 1, they made in game 2. They threw at Baron, or they threw in the topside jungle, and then they threw at the dragon as well. I think those are the 2 mistakes they made that cost them in game 1, and then these are the 2 mistakes they made that cost them game 2, I think.
We're Infernal this game. Them being Cloud Dragons.
And Endril's probably going to pick someone again with his hook.
A ton. Like, obviously, faster rotation.
We'll see.
Appreciate.
Yeah, the Renekton can't 1v1 anyone right now. He can't 1v1 the Silas or the Kennen. So it's not like you can even set up a pick. Like, I think maybe Akuma just has to commit on the fight. Yep, there they go. Good flash away. And Lantern. Wow, Endril played that so well. That was a good engage, too. Like, Jerosa has had good engages, and so in Audio with a good fear there. Audio and Jerosa played that fight really well, but that was just a brilliant flash Lantern play by Andril. He's had, like, 2 brilliant moments this game, and that's kind of winning them those situations. But they haven't lost the base. That's the good news. The mid inhibitor's open, but they haven't lost it yet. When they lose inhibitor, it's going to be really hard to hold anything because they don't have enough wave clear, right? So this isn't a team comp where you can just give up 1 inhibitor and be comfortable. Like, looking at the comp for Akuma, their goal was to get a split push lead with Renekton and then siege with Lux and Ezreal. and pressure the side lane with Hecarim Might. Like, Hecarim could threaten to go to the side lane. But they never got the advantage for Renekton to actually do the split pushing. And they lost control of the map, so... Right now, their team comp just doesn't really have the strength they wanted. But Wasted Potential, this is where their team comp is terrible as well. Like, they can't siege at all. They have an inhibitor open, so that's good, but it's hard to force a fight on their terms a little bit. Oh, Pigeon. Oof. That's going to delay them, because Pigeon can't walk up now. He's got to wait for Ocean Dragon, so that's at least 30 or 40 seconds you bought yourself, in theory. Unless Fluke walks into Pure Acid, which is what he's going to do. Oh, what a flash, Klein. Yeah, that should be game, right? Like, Nick's even super far behind, but he made a good play there. So, I think this is it, right? Yeah. He's the last couple minutes. Honestly, I think Akuma could have won these 2 games very easily. Wasted Potential played it well, though. I mean, it's why they moved on, right? Whoops. Didn't mean to go back there, but... Like, looking at... Like, you look at the damage here, though. Like, the Kennen did way more than I think he should have. And, like, Pure Acid, again, he had a good game. But, like, their Renekton even did stuff. I think that game right there was all a result of... them not activating their win condition, because the Renekton was meant to get an advantage topside and split push. They didn't do that. Like, Audio kept ganking bot lane, and in some ways I can see why he did it, because he's like, well, I can't gank top lane, like, it's just not working, I gotta go somewhere, and he tried to gank bot lane, but twice he got counter ganked, and then the third time he went and ganked bot lane, the Thresh just like flayed him away, and it was like, alright. Actually, maybe he didn't even get on. I don't know. I think Thresh maybe flayed the Braum away or whatever, and they just never got on him. So I think what they needed to commit harder to the game plan, and like I said earlier, they could have gone Rek'Sai in the early game, and maybe won that one. I'm gonna actually, you know, what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna look up Audio and see if he's playing any other champions that I don't know about here, because. And we'll see if we can find him a champion to play. Let's see here. Akuma. And so let's see. What does Audio play here? Because this is actually really, I think, pretty interesting to see his. Let's see there. So if we look at Audio's champion pool, he plays Sejuani, Rek'Sai, Jarvan, Jin Zhao, Zac, right? These are basically the champions he plays. Why not just play Rek'Sai here? Like, he plays the champion too. That's strange to me. Sejuani could even better. I think the Hecarim was not good. Like, he was trying to play the meta, and I kind of respect that. But at the same time, like, even Jin Zhao would work. Like, I think Jin Zhao fulfills their game plan better than the Hecarim does. You know what I mean? Because then you just go topside, you get a kill level 3 with the Renekton, and then he can do what he's meant to do. But yeah, that's kind of sucks. They didn't really get what they wanted there. Let's see here. I want to check out what Nick plays as well. Riven, Vladimir, Ezreal. Interesting. I don't even see any Renekton games on this one, but yeah, I think there were a lot of better jungle picks here. I think a little bit of draft mistake by Akuma. I like their game 1 though. That's like one of the things I think they can take away from the first 10 minutes of game 1 were fantastic, and then the next 10 were really bad, and then after that the game was just kind of over. But it's a shame, you know, it sucks. I'm still excited for the Wasted Potential match, though. That one should be pretty good. If I'm being honest with myself, too, I want to see a rematch of Free Child of 1 and Lane 0 Blizzard, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think so. I really don't think it's going to happen. I think that Wasted Potential will probably win. Just because I think their strength is really good. Like from what I've seen so far. Plus, if you look at the other side, I think it's tough for. Let's look at the schedule here. Paragon 5. I think for Free Child 1 to win, I think Paragon 5 can win that series as well here. So I'm not even sure if any of our defending finalists will get in, to be honest. I'm worried for that one.